Hello guys, welcome back to Two Sticks. My name is Scott.
I'm Belida.
And we're going to hit you with another song reaction. We're sticking with the plan, okay? This is going to be sort of a throwback, 1969.
Now, I don't know about this band, so Scott, break it down for me.
MC5. So, I've been watching some documentaries about rock music, and MC5 came up as a very pivotal band back in the 60s, late 60s, I guess early 70s. They were viewed at the time as being like this incredible runaway freight train on stage. Like, people were really...
Great live shows.
Great live shows, really intense, passionate music. Ted Nugent, at the time, he was playing his band from Texas, and he said that they were wild and crazy. And then he said he saw MC5 and was like, man, we're nothing compared to these guys. But they were from Detroit, and Detroit had quite the rock scene from what I've learned back in the day.
Still does, because we did some videos on Greta Van Fleet from Detroit. So.
Yeah, so we're going to check this out. I haven't actually listened to any of MC5's music, so this is going to be a first
me
one
neither.
for me.
Let's see what
First
happens.
one for both of us. This one's called Kick Out the Jams. It's the title track from the album of the same name. Came out in 1969. Huh. Let's see what's going on.
Right now it's time to kick out the jams, motherfucker!
Sounds like punk.
Well, I feel pretty good, and I guess that I couldn't get crazy now, baby. 'Cause we all got to do it with a resolute and hazy now, baby. I know how you want it, I know how you treat it right. The girls can't stand it when you're doing right. Nothing I understand, and let me kick out the jam. Yes, kick out the jam.
I could imagine this being pretty heavy back then, man. For 1969 when this came out.
It's pretty heavy now.
It's pretty heavy now, but like, man, I could compare this to like what the Beatles were up to, you know?
Yeah.
The Beatles were the quintessential rock band, and they were making albums from 1960 to 1970.
These guys are definitely not having that flower power peace bullshit.
This has got that like raw underground kind of like, we're just going to be wild and crazy and kind of party, and it's going to be in your face kind of feel.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like that's what Detroit rock is. You know?
Yeah.
You hear about Detroit rock and you hear Greta Van Fleet, these guys. It sounds like it's got that guitar heavy, let's get on stage, let's just wail, belt it out kind of thing going on.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Blue power. You can nosh to this.
Oh, sorry.
How much you want to bet these guys used to trash their hotel room?
I know, right?
I could just see them, kicking stuff off stage. This would totally be at home on the East Coast. I mean, if you go to some shows on in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, this type of music is still around. People still rock out to it, except they mosh to it now.
That's the thing, is if you went to see these guys back in '69 when this album came out, what were the people at those concerts doing? Like, I'm really curious. I want to see some live footage of this band and just see how the crowd acted and behaved. I'm sure they were crazy. People probably taking their clothes off and freaking like.
It was the
throwing
'60s.
things.
Yeah, it was the '60s.
I don't know.
You know what? But the kind of people that saw this are the people that would rock out to Inagata Devita. The kind of people that would listen to Black Sabbath and what else was around at that time?
Black Sabbath, metal's got the stereotypes with the headbanging and the moshing and all that. Mm-hmm. Black Sabbath, they were a little bit more, in my mind, a little bit more subdued than this. They were slower, They were heavier, maybe, but they were dark, slow, heavy. This seemed to me more like just volatile and just raw and noisy, and it's not metal in the proper sense, maybe, because
You
a lot
don't
of
think
people,
so? You don't
well,
think so?
I think they're an antecedent to metal. I think this. I don't think that bands like Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, I think those guys were listening to bands like this, is what I think. I think
know what,
rock
man?
rock was getting a little bit more extreme, a little bit heavier, a little bit more chaotic.
I'm gonna have issue with you, man, because
Mm-hmm.
I would call this heavy metal. I would say this meets all the criteria of heavy metal, but I guess this is heavy metal before
Well,
heavy metal was cool.
Yeah, well, I think you've got a point, because if you listen to the guys' vocals, they're really rough on this song, and that's another hallmark of heavy metal. So, yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying.
Not only that, man, I also feel like this could be one of the influences that led to punk.
Yeah, it could be true, too.
Definitely thrash.
Yeah, thrash, for sure, thrash. Yeah, I could see, Metallica. I know Lars Ulrich's got some MC5 in his record collection. I just know it. It has to be there.
I'm going to start checking these guys out, actually.
This is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's metal. Listen to that guitar. Makes me want to pull my hair.
So, overall impressions, what do you think?
That's heavy metal. That's heavy metal. It's proto-thrash. It's like someone went back in time, and
Well,
before the dinosaurs, they found a dinosaur.
It's crazy because Black Sabbath's first album, people call that the first heavy metal album. That came out in 1970.
Yeah.
So we're really, like you said, we're kind of splitting hairs. If we look at that album, that song came out in 69. Okay, so it's a 1 year difference.
Right. But how is that
Like,
not heavy metal?
They're playing with the same same sounds, in my opinion. Yeah, that shit's pretty heavy, especially for the time period.
Think about this. You go to any concert venue here in Missouri, right? You go on stage, and you've never heard this before, right? And somebody and a band covered this, and you'd never heard it before. What would you call it?
I don't know.
You'd call it heavy metal.
The cool thing about it too is, like, even if somebody played that live today, like, could you imagine someone playing that at the Boone County Fairgrounds today?
I've never been to Boone County Fairgrounds.
It's just I'm talking about like a real PC, family-oriented venue, you know. These guys are getting on stage, they got afros, and they're all Motowned out.
Wearing
They
the
got,
leather
like,
jackets, yeah.
big guitars, and they're just thrashing, and this just noisy, this wall of noise.
You know what I think
just
would happen?
hits you.
You know what I think would happen?
People would run away screaming.
No, this is what I think would happen. The people that own the place and the adult supervision would be like, yeah, that's my sound, man. Remember back when? That's what I think would happen.
Maybe, yeah. Well, shoot, man. Most adults, like my dad and uncle, they were born in 67 and 1970, so they were babies when that song was.
You know, I was born in 1969, so this
Yeah.
album came out shortly before I did, or a little bit later,
A little
you know.
bit later, yeah.
But
Maybe you had a residual or sort of a peripheral influence on that song.
or maybe the vibrations of the metal, you know, followed me all the way around the other side of the globe. And when I was born, I came out. Right? No, that's kind of silly.
Give me an MC5 record now.
You know, we got to ask our fan, is this heavy metal? We can't settle this. We can't come to an agreement. So, is this heavy metal? Is it something else? What is it? Because I want to, you know, I want to know.
Yeah, I think a lot of this crap about genres comes down to splitting hairs. Because like you've mentioned, I mean, people say Black Sabbath was the first metal band. They clearly had predecessors.
No, you said that.
No, that is the general consensus. I'm speaking on stuff I've learned and read. That's the general consensus. So MC5's definitely in that same. They live on the same street in the same subdivision, guys.
Right. You know, when is metal not metal?
I think that what Black Sabbath did that really freaked a lot of people out, and Jimmy Page was sort of into this stuff too, but they were trying to be dark and evil a little bit. They were just playing with fire a little bit, playing with dark stuff. The occult, a lot of their songs were about death. You know, the album covers were very, very grim. And MC5, you don't get that same vibe from that, but that is super aggressive.
They're having
super
fun.
Distorted. The guy's vocals, he's almost growling. So I think sonically you could put it in the same category. So, but yeah, that's Belida asked a good question. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments what you think of a band like MC5. Are they a metal band? Are they a precursor to metal? What are they? So, but do you have anything else you want to say?
They were fun. It sounds like they were on stage having fun, and I enjoyed hearing that. And I will definitely, after this, download some MC5 and check them out.
Yeah, I might do that too. I might go through their catalog. So, but that's it, guys. If you dug the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe below. For Scott,
Belida.
this is Two Sticks, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.